All right. So, the other day I made a video talking about dungeon tanking as a tank, and I made that video as kind of a response to this new discussion that seems to be popping up, that the game is suddenly hard all of a sudden in Dawn Trail. And kind of my whole point in that video is that for most of the game, things are not complicated or hard. And if you just do a few basics kinda well, everything's gonna be fine. Because the discussion around it is talking about like the difficulty of normal content, right? So like we're not even in the realm of doing Savage or Ultimate or whatever. Even though I think those things are easier than people give them credit for as well. But I wanted to give examples of how you can just do a couple things and be completely successful in most of the game, like 90% of the game. So in this video, I'm going to do basically the same thing I did in my last video, but from a healer perspective. And in order to do this, I'm going to play a healer that I really don't play very often, and that's my Scholar. It's level 91 now. I played it just a tiny bit. And I'm not super familiar with Scholar. I got it to level 90 in Endwalker and basically like put it down and didn't play it. So I'm not super familiar with what most of my buttons even do at this point, because it's just been a very long time since I've played it seriously. Even though it was my first character when I first played the game. It was a Scholar. But anyway, the basics that we're going to talk about today, and kind of, again, the theme is that everything is a lot easier than people make it out to be. People talk about optimization in the game to a point where the impression is that the game is a lot harder than it is. And if we're talking about healing normal content, healing normal raids, healing alliance raids, or just a dungeon like I'm going to do in this game, all you got to do is, if multiple people need healing, you hit an AoE heal, and if one person needs healing, you hit a single target heal. So on a Scholar, Scholar's a shield healer, so like technically if you want to optimize Scholar, you want to prevent damage with shields. You can be really bad and not do that, and you'll be just fine too. But I have a big heal, Adlo Corium? Adlo, which is a big single target heal, gives a decent shield. I have a AoE version that's a little weaker for everybody, for Sucker. And I have all kinds of other healing abilities and shield abilities and yada yada. Healers have so many tools in this game. All of these buttons that do cooldowns and cool things and fairy gauges and all that just stuff. You have an amazingly large toolkit of things to keep people alive, and it can be really fun to figure out the optimal way to weave those in for whatever mechanic in whatever fight. But if you're just doing normal content, all of that is just fluff. You just have a couple heals, you keep the tank alive, everything's gonna be fine. And people will make a really big deal about like healer DPS. And healer DPS is incredibly important if there is a damage check. If there is not a damage check, then it really doesn't matter. You know, if a healer just acts like a heal bot in a dungeon, dungeon's gonna take, I don't know, 4 minutes longer than it would otherwise or something. Should you do damage? Yes. If you're doing normal content, if your damage isn't optimal, does it matter? No, not at all. So all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna join a dungeon. I'll probably specific queue to the level 91 MSQ dungeon, which most people have seen. It doesn't have big spoiler stuff in it, so it should be safe to view. But basically, if a single target needs healing, if the tank needs healing, I'm going to press Adlo, I'm going to heal him. I have Ether Flow. I might throw out some Lustrates just to spend my Ether Flow stuff. If multiple people need healing, I'm gonna press Sucker. Maybe I'll get fancy. I think I have a heal over time from the fairy. You know, all that's nice and good. And if there's multiple targets that I can find time to DPS, I'm gonna press my AoE button. If there's a single target that I need to DPS, I'm gonna press Broil. It's not complicated. So we're gonna join that. Look at that instant Q. Healer privilege, instant Q. I don't do an enormous amount of healing, but I'll heal Fates, or if my friends want help with something, I'll heal. I'll heal all sorts of content. I just don't really enjoy it too much. So like, if I'm gonna be progging Savage or something, I'm not really interested in playing healer. Come on, Mr. Tank. There you go. All right. This was a good intro dungeon. I like this one. Give everybody a wave. My fairy is alive. If I'm feeling really proactive, maybe I can even There you go. There's multiple targets, so I'm just gonna hit my AoE button. And I'm kind of taking a look at the healer's HP over here. Oh, I should probably get Aether Flow stacks too. I know when I used to move the health bars like closer to the center so they're more noticeable, but because I don't heal very much, like I don't worry about it. I'm fine with just kind of glancing over here. And I basically didn't have to heal the tank at all. But I'll give him another shield as well anyway, why not? And again. See, so this is what I'm talking about. Like, people make dungeons or whatever out to be so complicated. I'm just pressing one button. Maybe I'll throw a heal on this person. There you go. Now granted, this dungeon is stopping us from doing a wall-to-wall pull, right? So perhaps this isn't the best example. The tank would be taking more damage if we can do multiple pulls at once. And if that's the case, I would just target the tank and just spam Adlo on him. No big deal. It doesn't have to be more complicated than that. You don't have to be efficient, so you don't have to be using all of your cooldowns. Is it better? Are you going to be a better healing by using all of your tools? Yeah, absolutely. Do you have to? No, doesn't really matter. I think 2 targets is better to single target damage. Let's see, Broil does 295, Art of War 2 does 180. Oh, the healer's actually taking damage, or the tank actually took damage. Wait, 180 times 2, is it better? My math is not good. I think it's better to Art of War 2 targets. I'm just keeping an eye on the tank. If I feel like he needs a heal, I'll give him a heal. No big deal. Why is my brain not working? Yeah. Art of War is way better on 2 targets. I don't know why that took me so long. I'm not going to show the whole dungeon. I'm just going to show up to the first boss. Well, and including the first boss. Some dungeons will, due to scaling, occasionally there'll be a dungeon that just kind of beats the shit out of the tank, right? Just The mobs just seem to take a huge chunk of the tank's health with every hit. If that happens, you just don't worry about DPS. Just heal the tank. Just in this case, I would just spam add low or use whatever ability that I want, and it's fine. Everything's fine. Where's our tank? There he is. Now, some people will have the fairy like sit in the middle. You can do that. It might be more efficient, but you know what? Doesn't matter. We're going to be just fine with my fairy following me around. Okay. Did AoE damage, so it didn't AoE heal. I'll throw a hot out there. And I've done this fight before, so I know he's going to do all kinds of AoE stuff here. So I'll do something fancy here, and I'll give everyone a big shield. But no one got hit, so it didn't matter. I'm pressing my one AoE button. If I feel like the tank needs a heal, I just give him a heal. Can I be more efficient? Probably. Does it matter? No. Uh-oh. Everyone took some damage, so I'll throw out an AoE heal. More than one target, I hit my AoE. None of this is complicated. None of this is hard. Tank took some damage. Give him a heal. And some people might take damage here, so I just give everyone a big shield. Oh, I have expedience, don't I? I always forget I have expedience. That's a fun ability, make everyone run fast. Oh yeah, and if you didn't know, lucid dreaming gives you mana back. Kind of important. I'll show, I think you can do a wall-to-wall pull now. So I'll show one more pull. The tank said be right back. No problem. Okay, the tank said be right back. And there's no reason that healing dungeons has to be any more complicated than what I just showed. People take damage, you heal the damage. You have a single target heal, you have an AoE heal. For most dungeons, that's literally all you need. You have a huge amount of other tools at your disposal that you can have fun playing with. And, you know, that's kind of the fun of playing healer, is how efficiently can you do everything. Because if it was just a matter of, you know, I can do this dungeon with those two heals. I can do this whole dungeon with just Adlo and Sucker. No reason why I couldn't, but it's more fun to use more abilities. So that's where I think a lot of the debate happens with a lot of healing discussion, because as you get higher and higher difficulty, people, like, healers will often say that you only heal with OGCDs, right? To be really efficient, that way you can do the most damage possible. And if you're doing like really high level stuff, if you're trying to get a week 1 Savage clear, basically clearing the whole Savage tier with close to minimum item level, you might need to do that. But that's not most people, and that's not most content. You can do almost everything in the game with just the basics. And that's the whole point of this video and the last video I did too. I don't know how long the tank is going to take, so I'm just going to end the video here. If you like this video, tell me below. If you didn't, tell me below. I did one for tank, I did one for healing. I don't know if it's worth doing one for DPS. Maybe I'll make one just kind of talking about the basics of what you should be thinking about when you're DPSing. That could be interesting. I probably won't do a dungeon with that one, but I'll probably just talk about, you know, the 2-minute meta and efficient usage. If that would be interesting, let me know below.